You remember Jason Derulo? He had this song a while back where he started singing it, and it's like, I'm Jason Derulo, and something like that. It was so horrible. I find it almost like stunning how horrible it was. But it was popular. Rachel and I heard some horrible non-song on the radio yesterday. And she's like, you know who this is? And I'm like, no. Oh, I think she did it like Sergio Mendes or something. Anyway, it was fucking horrible. I was like, that's not a song. What even is this horrible thing? Anyway, Jason Derulo is horrible like that. You want to see the other side of the phone? I'll show you where I am. Nobody's here, but pretending somebody was. Look at that. It's the beautiful mountains of Los Angeles out the window of the hotel. We're staying at the Doubletree Inn this time. We're at a different hotel than we usually stay at. And the reason we did not stay at that hotel is very simple. They have mandatory valet parking. It bugs me too much. And I just said, no, I am not going to have your mandatory valet parking anymore. Your mandatory valet parking is as bad as Jason Derulo, which is to say, terrible. So needless to say, Rachel's still sleeping. So I'm sitting out here by the elevator, live streaming, because he won't be up for a couple hours. Hi, Bufo Peregrines. Eric, I need the best piece of advice you can come up with. Take heroin? Oh no, that's not really good advice. Well, I'm following a different piece of advice myself where I'm taking speed. Which, is typically tasting kind of chemically. I like to melt them in my mouth so it increases the bioavailability, as they say. So you let me know how that works out for you, Bupa Peregrines, if you take the heroin. It's a rather pleasant drive down here yesterday. Hi, school days. Bruh. Bruh to you as well. Would you like to look at the mountains, bruh? You know what I like to call you? I like to call you Brazier. If your last name was Zier, you'd be Brazier. And we drove past pretty close to my dream job as a teenager. When I was a teenager, I used to drive by this store. It's near where my daughter lives now. It's called the Wizard of Bras. And in the window of this store, they have these massive bras that I can't even imagine anybody could be big-titted enough to fit in those things. But as a teenager, my dream was to be employed as a fitter at Wizard of Bras. I used to imagine I'd go and say, I can't tell if this fits. So, needless to say, the Wizard of Oz has a pretty great name for a store. I can't attest to the fact that there's any actual wizardry going on there, but I mean, when you're dealing with breasts, isn't there always a little bit of magic? Yeah, they are the essence of magic. They have wizardry built into them. For example, a pair of boobs has the power to magically make me go like this. What? Like that. So, we've got a long drive back to home today. Well, not super long, 5 hours or so. The drive down was pleasant enough because Rachel was coming with me this time rather than staying behind, which meant we were going to spend the night in a hotel rather than just do a 10-hour round trip drive, which is what I do when I go by myself. You know, by the time I got here, I had a little bit of a sore spot here from driving. And if I had turned around and gone back home right then, I would have felt really tore up when I got home. Instead, I got multiple hours of sleep last night. I got 6 to 8 hours of sleep, which is quite a bit of sleep. I got my fingers crossed, well, not literally, but metaphorically, that when we get home, I'll be able to direct some of my amphetamine energy towards cleaning. The house is getting really dirty. It's getting dirty in kind of small ways, but for example, on the stairs, going up to the second floor. Hi, Liam. Welcome back. But there's the second floor. Each of the stairs in the crack, it goes up to the next step. It's all this gray dust and lint and stuff. I need to vacuum the stairs. On the tile floor in the hallway, there's little blood stains on the floor where the cats killed a mouse. I haven't bothered to clean that up yet. Things like that. Now, one thing I did do yesterday before I left the house, and I'm very proud of myself for this, and you should be very proud of me too, is I remembered to take the trash out. The trash goes out on Sunday night. It's picked up on Mondays, We're allowed 4 32-gallon trash cans. That's it. That's all the trash we're allowed to put out. Well, I'm very glad I remembered because all 4 of our trash cans were totally full. So obviously we needed the trash people to take them away today. Well, not the cans, just the trash. They can leave the cans there. I'll need those for next week when I put more trash in them. A fair number of people up where we live don't even have trash service. They pack their trash into their truck or whatever and drive it to the dump themselves. But Rachel and I are too lazy for that. Also, we have a Mini Cooper. It's not really a great trash transport car. It's fairly roomy. It's not like we couldn't transport trash in there, but it'd be better if you had a truck, then the trash is separated from you by the back of your truck. So you don't get trash smell all inside of your car. So I went to Starbucks this morning and I got one of their special holiday beverages. This one is called which one did I get again? I got the chestnut praline latte. Chestnut praline. Chestnut is what I do when I pull out and come on Rachel tits. In honor of that, I got this chestnut praline latte. I'm a big believer in chestnutting. I gotta take care of animals, but hey Eric, you and your wife are still the loveliest people on the whole internet. Wow, Bufo Peregrine, thanks. You don't have to say goodbye, you can just come and go as you please. I don't have any expectations for you. You can't disappoint me by failing to meet my expectations. You know, that is the prime directive. It's all about expectations. As long as Bufo Peregrines knows that she or he cannot disappoint me by simply bailing all of a sudden, then he or she will feel more comfortable doing so in the future. I think in the past I've identified Bufo Peregrines as a lady, but I don't really have any reason to believe that she necessarily is a lady. He could be a dude. No, she's a lady. A beautiful lady. That's a quote from The Simpsons. When Homer meets the voice actor for Itchy and Scratchy, he's stunned to discover that Itchy or Scratchy, I don't know, or both of them, but are voiced by a woman. And he says, but you're a lady. And then the lady says, yes, a beautiful lady. All right, let's go downstairs and smoke a cigarette. We'll go to the outside part of the hotel. Now, when we get in the elevator and go down the elevator, you may experience a few moments of disorientation, as it's a lot of responsibility for a little you know. But anyway, the point is, as we go down the elevator, it's conceivable, anyway, that we will lose internet connection briefly. If we do, don't panic. I'm only on the 3rd floor. Oops, sorry about that.
Okay.
It really doesn't want to let you in.
No, it does not. That's okay. Have a great day.
You too. Okay, well, we made it down the elevator without losing internet connection. That's pretty good. Now we're going to make it outside to smoke a cigarette. And we're really going to be accomplishing things today. So, now we're outside in the smoking area. Among the things that are horrible, like Jason Derulo, and yes, Jason Derulo's horrible. Alright. Nadia something. Anafia. I don't have my glasses. They're probably in the car. I know I brought them with me yesterday, but I'm not sure where I left them. So, Jason Derulo, he had what I call Usher syndrome. Well, thanks, Nadia, or Nafia, or whatever that says. It's because I use some of the best beauty products in the world, you know. I use Studio by L'Oreal to wash my hair. And I use Rouge by the fanciest French makeup company. And my eyeliner is made out of unicorn tears. That's how I get so beautiful. Also, I only eat lean cuisine. Yes, I'm in America. I'm in Los Angeles, actually, at the moment. No, I don't live here anymore. I mean, I'm not technically in Los Angeles City. I'm in the Arcadia Monrovia area. Monrovia is between Jordy and where my parents used to live, and I used to live as a kid. Arcadia. But we stayed at the Doubletree this time. Normally we stay at the Le Meridian Hotel in Arcadia. But the last time I went there, I was so mad about their dumb mandatory valet parking policy that I just said, fuck it, we're not going to this hotel anymore. We stayed at this Doubletree before, so we're not unfamiliar with it. Salam wa alaikum. Well, salam wa alaikum to you too. You're from Georgia? You mean Georgia, former Soviet state Georgia? Are you worried about getting invaded? If you were Estonia, you certainly would be worried. Good morning. Here's a man with good taste in cigarettes. I said, you got good taste in cigarettes. Yeah, those are the best cigarettes right there. Marlboro Reds. America's finest. So, needless to say, Rachel won't be up until, well, I might get her up at like 8:30. But you know, if you leave her to sleep as long as she wants to, she'll be up at like 1 in the afternoon. Then we'd have to spend another night at this hotel. So, we don't want to do that, obviously. I'm sure Trouble, at least, is I'm 52. Trouble, at least, is very disturbed by our absence. He may very well have just, like, not eaten since we've left, because he insists that we watch him eat every time he eats, you know? Let's go to the car now. And, I don't know. Maybe smoke a joint. Maybe look for my glasses. Maybe both. This is the hotel we're staying at. It's pretty tall. It's got 10 floors on it. But she's like, do you want to, when we checked in last night, she's like, I can put you on a high floor. Like, no, thank you. Just put us on a low floor so I can spend less time riding the elevator. It's like, yes, being on a high floor is kind of better because you don't hear all the noise from outside and stuff, you know. Well, where are my glasses? That's a little frustrating. Oh, there they are. There, now I found my glasses. America is beautiful. And this isn't even a beautiful part of America. My wife and I live in a beautiful part of America. This is just Los Angeles. Hot rock's bad. I'm 38. No, I'm not 38. Rachel's 38, though. .38 and fine as dandelion wine. And I'm totally gonna hit that shit when I get home too. I was tired last night. I just, you know, a lot of times when I go stay in a hotel, it used to be, and whenever I stayed in a hotel with a lady, I'd be super horny and want to have sex in the hotel. But not so much anymore. Now I kind of like the appeal of staying in hotels. Hi, very good YT. Oh, you're very good YT, aren't you? I like YT as well. Assuming you're talking about YouTube and not yellow turtles. What are we doing? Well, at the moment we're rolling a joint. And then after we roll this joint, we're going to smoke it. And that'll be an exciting time for us all. Because who doesn't like smoking a joint? Everybody likes that. Although, to be honest, yesterday I feel like I smoked a little bit too much. I didn't have my inhaler with me. And last night before I went to bed, I was kind of wheezy. Like Georgian wheezy. Now, I'm guessing that character in the Jeffersons wasn't actually named Wheezy. I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing that her name was Louise. And that George Jefferson just called her Wheezy. All right. Well, the rolling is complete. And now it's time for the smoking portion of our activity. I'm going to roll down this window a little bit. I've got my super cool keychain. It's never fair, always true. Used to have Johnny's signature on the back, but when you use it as your actual keychain, it rubs off pretty quickly. That's fine. I still have a signed hat. That signature's not going to rub off so easily. Roll down the window a bit. There we go. And then probably after I smoke the joint, I may have to go back upstairs and poo. As usual, live streaming has a laxative effect on me. Oh, I'm looking already at the traffic out of town. But at least I don't have to hit traffic for any longer than probably this part of the 210. Once I go on that part of the 210 up through La Cañada and stuff, probably won't be much traffic. Then I know I'm going to hit traffic on the Grapevine going north because They've got cone putters out there, and they got like 3 lanes closed on the Grapevine North. They warn you when you're coming south. There's a sign that says 3 lanes closed, Grapevine North. I thought, don't they mean south? Because this is the last time I came down here. No, they mean north. They're just warning you when you come south. So we got to get through that. Once we're on the other side of the Grapevine, it should be pretty quick. It's 5 hours in normal traffic. Probably it'll be about 5 hours today. This is a Mini Cooper Countryman 4-door. And it's like a 2014 or something like that. It's pretty old. The stick shift too, which is pretty rare in Mini Coopers. But this isn't like the sports car kind of Mini Cooper. My dad had a 2-door Mini Cooper, and for a while after he died, no hero or lamb. I also don't like Usher at all. And one mistake that they both make is they put their name in front of their song. Like, Usher, Usher, Usher. Anyway, my dad had a 2-door Mini Cooper. I drove both Minis for a while after he died. We ended up selling his. His was a lot faster. It had a lot of fucking get up and go. You stomped on the gas on that thing, it fucking flew. This car is not nearly as sporty, but we decided to keep this one because it's more comfortable. Do I speak Georgian? No, I don't. I don't speak any Eastern European languages, although I can say Здравствуй, Владим, which is Russian for thank you, Vladimir. Back when I was younger and it was not too far away from when I went to Russia, I could say some more things in Russian, but I've forgotten them. They got replaced by the few Chinese things I could say when I went to China. Like, 水长路, Hong Chao Lu. Because that's where I lived in Shanghai, was within easy walking distance of the corner of Hongqiao and Shuicheng roads. Boy, let me tell you, you don't want to go live in China. Why? Because China sucks ass. Why does China suck ass? Well, because communitarianism never turns out well, you know. Whether they call it communism or whatever they want to call it, authoritarian groupism based on ideology never turns out well. That's why you cannot drink the water in China without getting heavy metal poisoning. Ultimately, it's only individualism that produces good results. That's just the truth of the matter. The Chinese sound so attacky compared to the Japanese. Well, not in World War II. When I want to say tough, when I want to sound tough, I'll tell somebody, look, motherfucker, you are Nanking, and I am the Japanese Imperial Army. That's how I sound tough. Here come the police. I wonder if they're going to bother me for smoking a joint in the car. Probably not. After all, I'm not allowed to smoke it in the hotel room. So, what else am I going to smoke it? It's not like I'm driving anywhere. Let's try to take the keys out just in case. Not that smoking a joint prevents me from driving successfully, but people are kind of crazy. What about lack of accountability and totalitarianism? Yeah, those are big problems that come along with any kind of communitarian bullshit. That's why individualism is the only solution. It's not like the group can better make decisions for individuals than individuals can make for themselves. It's ridiculous. If I were in World War II Imperial Japan, I'd walk right into that, Forbidden City or whatever they call it, like special palace place. I'd grab that fucking Emperor Hirohito by the hair, I'd pull him outside, and I'd spank him in front of everybody in Tokyo. This little tiny Japanese man, bent over my knee, being spanked mercilessly by Eric. It's like, I still am pissed that the U.S. didn't nuke Tokyo instead of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nuke the fuckers responsible for the war. Nuke the Imperial Palace, for fuck's sake. Kill the Emperor. Kill all of their leaders and stuff. Why are you killing cities full of civilians when you could nuke Tokyo? Just drop that shit right on the Imperial Palace. But, I've been mad about that ever since World War II. Since before I was born, I was angry about the U.S. failing to nuke Tokyo during World War II. But, Kyoto was one of the proposed nuclear sites, but it was nixed because one of the U.S. military people who had a say in the matter had his honeymoon in Kyoto, and he didn't want to blow it up. Isn't that funny? I think that's funny. It's like, of all the things that saved Kyoto, some general had his honeymoon there. So, they're like, alright, we won't blow up Kyoto. That's a terrible way to make decisions. Like, what army makes decisions like that? Hey, did anybody here ever been to Kyoto? No? Let's nuke the fucking place. Kyoto is a fun word to say. It's also the most tourist-friendly place in Japan. The Japanese would like you to go to Kyoto, to dress up in traditional Japanese outfits, where you get a discount when you go into stores if you wear either a kimono or the male Japanese outfit. I forget what that one's called. But Kyoto is very tourist friendly. Unlike the rest of Japan, which is tourist tolerant. It's tourist tolerant, but, very ethnocentric. Like in Tokyo, there's all these places that are Japanese only. If you're a foreigner, you're not allowed to go in there. They're like stupid, like made bars for businessmen and shit anyway. It's like, I think even Japan's embarrassed by their own nonsense. But I must say, Japan has a weird relationship with objectifying young women. It's totally considered acceptable. And I mean, they have a weird relationship with men and women in general because they're a pretty forward thinking culture. It's not like only men are allowed to be successful or some bullshit like that. Yeah, I hear Japan's mad expensive too. We're not going to go there. Even though I kind of am curious to go to Japan, but for that reason, primarily, we would never go there. But also because I know if I went to Japan, it's like I am much too tall for Japan. I would not fit anywhere. The beds would be way too short. It would be horrible. So, I do think that within the next few years, Rachel and I are going to take an overseas trip. But I believe it will be to Norway to see Susie and Abraham. We may hit another Euro country, you know, visit some, talking with famous people. But primarily our destination will be Norway, I think. According to bye 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 bye. I'd get on a game show easy. I don't want to go to Guatemala. I want to go see Abraham and Susie in Norway. If you remember from President Trump, Norway is not a shithole country. That's one aspect of Trump I liked, He didn't pull any punches. He said it like he saw it, He's right. Norway is not a shithole country. Guatemala, I'm not so sure about. I've never been there. It seems fine. I do know they play way too much pan flute in Guatemala. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, the nicer the country, the more expensive it is. Japan's like crime-free, super clean, like everything's sterilized all the time, even before COVID, But it's also super expensive. Norway, a very expensive place, I'm sure. But, that's why I'm saying sometime in the next few years we'll do this. We're not in any big hurry to spend a bunch of money on a unnecessary vacation. So this was a necessary vacation because this produced amphetamines. Plus, I think we both needed to get out of the house for a bit, do something with produce new stimulus besides just TV, chairs, and microwave food. Rachel and I are pretty lazy, really. I mean, unless you consider this work, in which case, I put in a fair amount of work every week. You love America and you love... Is that the Georgian flag? Well, I love every Eastern Bloc country that's currently independent. I wish them all well, and to avoid Putin's imperialist aggression. I support Ukraine, Georgia, Estonia, all those little countries over there. But not Russia. Because Russia sucks ass. That doesn't mean I don't like Russians, though. People who are from Russia can come here no problem. I get it. My country does fucked up shit, too. So, just because your country does fucked up shit doesn't mean you support it. It doesn't mean you're responsible for it. You know, I certainly didn't vote for George W. Bush. He was the worst. The worst U.S. president ever, probably. George W. Bush. What a nightmare. Even his former CIA director dad was better than him. A lot better, really. I mean, he was no Bill Clinton, but he was a hell of a lot better than his son. It was in Primo Red Sea facing land just south of Israel. Huh. Generals gathered in their masses, turn up just like witches at black masses. Bam, oh Lord now. We listened to that song yesterday on the way down to Los Angeles. We didn't listen to the Black Sabbath version. We listened to the Cake version. And normally, I'm not a believer at all in covers. It's like, why are you even bothering to record a cover? What's the point? You know, somebody else wrote that song. Why are you even bothering? I don't get it. But an exception to that is Cake. Cake takes great songs that are, you know, not perfectly executed in their original form and covers them and makes them even better. You can take, for example, that song, War Pigs, but you could also take, for example, the song, I will survive. No matter how I know I'll be alive. I got all my life to give, and I've got all my love to give. That song. Cake does an excellent cover of that song, too. You know, and Cake does covers right. If you want to see a band that does covers totally dumb and wrong, Weezer. Why would Weezer bother doing such faithful covers, a whole album of incredibly faithful covers? They don't even add anything. You might as well just listen to the original song. Well, I did have, at some point, probably every Black Sabbath album, including those featuring Ronnie James Dio as the singer. Because when I was a kid, I hung out with metalers, you know, heavy metalers. So that's what we were supposed to listen to. And I tried my best to listen to various bad musics, but my inherently inborn excellent taste in music ultimately prevented me from sustaining listening to any bad music. I was just born, built in with the correct taste in music. I liked the right music right from birth. Like when I was a kid, little kid, one of my very favorite songs was the Winnie the Pooh album. It had a couple of my favorite songs on it, including the Tigger song and Winnie the Pooh itself. You know, Winnie the Pooh, Dumbly little, num, meow, meow, meow. You hear that song? That's a good song. And according to my mom, when I was very little, I used to put on that Winnie the Pooh album and listen to that Tigger song over and over again and dance around to it. Well, I was right to like that song. It's a good song, you know? It's a song that speaks the truth. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are a wonderful thing. That's true. That's as true as a song can be. And just like Rachel and this beautiful kind of symmetry. Both of us, as little kids, were drawn so much to the Beatles that both of us now can sing along with practically every Beatles song. Even though, like, for me, I went through decades-long stretch where I didn't listen to the Beatles at all. But I still remember all the words. It's like, when you listen to shit when you're a little kid, it sticks with you, you know? Or even as a teenager. The song Radio by Elvis Costello. I hadn't listened to it in decades. And then it's like something made me remember it. I don't know, whatever. I put it on one time. I remember where we were, too. We were driving to Pomona for some reason. I don't know why Rachel and I were going to Pomona, but maybe to go to those antique stores out there. I think that's what it was. In fact, I think it was the time I bought the Full House dolls. Anyway, that thing came on. I swear I hadn't listened to it since I was like 20 years old, 22 maybe, I don't know. And I was seriously thinking about hiding the receiver when the switch broke because it's old. They're saying things that I can hardly believe. They really think we're getting out of control. Radio, it's a sad salvation. I could remember like every word of that song the whole way through. It's crazy. Meanwhile, I can only remember 2 words to any Jason Derulo song. And those 2 words are Jason Derulo. That's why Jason Derulo is horrible, in part. And so many reasons why he's horrible. If you've never seen an SNL skit entitled Delinquent Girl Teen Gang, I highly recommend it. It's got Fred Armstead in it, and he's like super hilarious. I like Fred Armstead. I think he's funny. You have been right there when the Sunset Strip exploded with metal, the glam stuff, and the punk, and the thrash reaction to it. Yeah, but I didn't go to those shows, really. I was a little too young, you know? Yeah, there were underage shows, but not that many. Well, I mean, I hate almost all Usher songs, but not all Usher songs. There's at least one Usher song that I think is pretty good, actually. It's easy to get Usher confused with Chris Brown. Chris Brown is the one who sings, "Look what I can do with my feet," which is just like the horriblest song ever. It's so bad. But yeah, Usher's a no-talent dancer, but he may have had somebody write a good song for him. I don't know. He had like one decent song. But yes, he's horrible. He's maybe a little bit better than Jason Derulo. He had a longer career, that's for sure. But and then he had his post-career as a judge on The Voice. I don't know if he's still doing that or not. He might be. I know. Blake, what's his last name? I keep wanting to say Blake Griffin, the ex-Clippers basketball player, but that's not his last name. Blake Shelton. Blake Shelton. Do you know that Blake Shelton married Gwen Stefani? God. Gwen Stefani. Ugh. You might as well just marry the concept of mediocrity. Speaking of horrible, talentless catastrophes, no doubt. They have a couple of okay songs. You know, probably their very best song was their first hit, I'm Just a Girl. That's a pretty good song. Well, the police lady didn't come bother me. I thought she might come bother me. She's driving around this parking lot here. But if she'd come bother me, I just would have said, I'm staying in the hotel here. And I obviously can't smoke a joint in the room, so I'm smoking it down here in the car. Just chill the fuck out, lady, you know? It's the advantage of living in California. Some other states, they wouldn't be so understanding. All their hits were covers. Well, yeah, I agree, Hero Lamb. Like, take Patsy Cline, for example. She never wrote her own music, but she had a couple of classic songs that she's remembered as the artist for. Like, Crazy and I Fall to Pieces. Both of which are Willie Nelson songs. So, yeah, she's a good singer, fine. If people should be given credit for being good singers, if they're good singers or good whatever. But, and it's wise, it's wise to be like, imagine yourself a singer, songwriter, producer who has somebody else doing the actual production work. But, like, you know, if I could pick specific singer for each of my songs to sing it according to what I think it should be sung like, well, that might be a good decision. But nevertheless, if it's successful, the the singer would be a component in the work created by the artist, right? The artist is responsible for it, not the singer or the drummer or the whatever. Like, who's responsible for Johnny being genius? Yeah, he's got a great drummer and he's got a great bass player. But those two are replaceable. Singers are a little less replaceable than instrument players because everybody has their own unique voice, and there's some voices that really hit with people. You know, like there was that English lady who sang that song, I'm not someone like you. Ah, wah, wah, wah. You know that song? Anyway, she was famous for having a really great voice. You know, like, um, that's why she was successful as a singer. Did she write those songs? I don't know. She might have written those songs too. Right, the voice is more fragile compared to other instruments, as is evidenced by the fact that Johnny is not touring, you know? We were talking about this yesterday in the car, Rachel and I, how it's like, I miss him. Just knowing that, like, he's not doing anything right now, he's not active, there aren't, like, I don't look at Instagram, which I guess is where he's most active, but, like on YouTube, he's the only channel that I am subscribed to with notifications on. The only YouTube channel. I'm not even subscribed with notifications on to my own wife. Well, not Johnny. Johnny doesn't fake shit. Guarantee you there was nothing lip synced to that show, and that show was absolutely phenomenal. It was the best show that either Rachel and I have ever been to. And I am 52 years old, and I have been to a lot of shows. I've seen the Pixies super up close and impersonal back when they only had like 2 albums out, you know. I saw the Pixies at UC Irvine. I could walk right up and push up against the stage. That's how few people were there. That was probably The second most memorable show I've ever been to. I don't know if it was the second best. Well, here at Lamb, it's true that singers have to watch their voices to a point. Um, for me, my voice stays pretty good when I'm singing as long as I get enough sleep. When I don't get enough sleep, then I start to lose my voice. And it has more to do with that than how much I use my voice, even at all. Like when we got married, at the wedding, we had karaoke. I was totally unable to sing anything because I had been up for too much for like 2 straight weeks getting ready for the wedding. Yeah, Bob Dylan had a horrible voice to begin with. um, but I hadn't been singing or yelling or talking a lot or anything. I'd just been not getting enough sleep night after night and just talking a regular amount to Rachel or whatever about whatever. But my voice was shot at the wedding, completely shot. I couldn't even sing one karaoke song. I guess it's for me just a matter of general rest. Because that's true of everything about me. It's like when I don't get enough sleep, everything starts to go. My eyesight gets weaker. Um, I I feel like I can't catch my breath as easily. Just a lot of different little physical things telling me you need to sleep more. If I consistently don't get enough sleep, you know. So it's 7:20. Still a little early to wake Rachel up, but I'll probably go upstairs in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe try to poo, you know. But imagine being on tour for months. Well, yeah, to me, if I had to sing an hour a day at a show, like Johnny's show was an hour long, maybe a little longer than that, hour and 15 minutes or something. As long as I got enough sleep, even if I did that every day for months, if I slept well and didn't get sick or anything, it would be fine. If I were in my 20s, no big deal. In my 50s, I just don't travel that well. If I had to do that, I would have to. There's no way I'd be able to do as many shows as Johnny was doing. Like, you know, Johnny did a show in Santa Cruz in the afternoon before the show he did in San Luis Obispo that we saw in the evening. Hero Lamb says an interesting thing here that I really want to respond to. I think it's a very interesting comment. He says, I don't know how the songs don't lose their feel for the singers because they sing them over and over. Well, that's how I feel about actors and lines and memorized lines and stuff. Back when I was in speech and debate, I did for 1 year original oratory where I recited a memorized speech. And it gave me this weird out-of-body experience. And I certainly couldn't deliver it consistently with the same kind of feeling because it had lost all of its, for me, authenticity. Whereas whenever I did impromptu speaking, I always felt locked in the moment, ready to just read the room and respond and stuff. I wasn't trying to remember anything. But music is very different than that for me, and I think for probably most musicians. When you're trying to execute a song, it's extremely hard to get it right, no matter what instrument you're playing. Whether you're playing the guitar to get the guitar part just right, whether you're singing to get the singing part just right, whether you're doing both at the same time, which is what I'm usually doing. It's extremely hard to nail something if you have a song written that you have a clear vision of what it's supposed to be. Just getting it close to perfect is difficult every single time, for me anyway. So it's somewhat about feeling it. Like, obviously I execute a song better when I'm really feeling it. Like, oh, I'm loving this song right now. But that links to like sort of your mood in the moment, not to over familiarity. If a song's good enough, it is almost infinitely replayable. Any song that's not that good, you'll get sick of playing it pretty quick. So that's why even though I've written hundreds of songs, I only play like 10 or 20 of them, because those are the only ones that are good enough that it doesn't make me angry when I play them at how not good enough it is. So that's just my experience singing music. And this is true of not just my own songs, but covers too. Like one cover, probably my favorite cover to play, the cover I play most often, is this racist song by Merle Haggard, called White Boy. And I still have a clear understanding of how I want to execute it in any given moment. It may change a little bit from instance to instance. Sometimes I want to play it slower or faster. This is the only real element that might change. But I still want to. If I still want to nail it, and it's still hard to nail it. If I nail it, it probably sounds like it's executed with a lot of feeling. But it's not really feeling, it's just being in the zone. Like you're feeling it, but I don't know if it has to do with emotions per se. I mean, here, Lamb, think about me. I play these songs, I play hundreds and hundreds of times, and I still don't have them perfectly down. I still don't have a lot of them memorized. Because music's a little harder than you think. Now, it is true here, Lamb, that anytime there's extrinsic motivation, it reduces intrinsic motivation. So, in other words, no matter how much you love doing something, if you're getting paid to do it, you're less intrinsically motivated to do it. And that lack of intrinsic motivation may result in some diminishment of excellence in the execution of things. But I'll tell you this much. If Johnny was going to get to that point regarding his material, he hadn't gotten there yet. He was loving it. It was obvious. He was loving doing his thing up there, having a responsive audience that was singing along with him. He was loving every second of it. Now, it may very well be that for Johnny, part of the oomph to the whole experience was the performing live, the engaging with the audience. If I'm right about him being an INFJ, that's right in his tool function wheelhouse, And boy, did he craft that show carefully in terms of FE across the board. It was a masterclass in FE. But regardless, it just goes to show you that, where you get your juice from varies from person to person. And obviously, if you're feeling juiced, whatever it is you're doing is going to come out better than if you're feeling meh. That's just life, right? When I'm performing, which I haven't done in a long time, but when I'm performing in front of a live audience, I feel extra empowered because I can read the room, and consistently in the past, what I've always read is people go like, what is this? You're actually really good, you know? I've gotten that response consistently time and time again when I start playing in front of people live. For people who watch the live stream, they hear me play songs or whatever, but as far as I'm concerned, that's basically not a live performance because I can't read the room at all. I can't engage with the audience in any meaningful way. I just play songs for a while, and then people either like them or they don't. They either say nice things or they say nothing. Either way, it's like I can't really tell what they think, you know? But I tell you, you put me on a decent number of milligrams of Adderall, stick me in front of an open mic, and I will leave people fairly blown away. I might just make up some new thing on the fly, depending on my mood or whatever, but probably not. Back in the day when I was doing meth, it was a crapshoot. You never knew what was going to happen when I got out there. But it was always interesting. All right. Well, yeah, if you had one or two songs that's all anybody ever wanted to hear, we get annoying. But if you're playing a show, they're expecting you to play those one or two songs, and that would be fine. Those are your hits and whatever. But they're also expecting you to fill an hour plus of live music, so they're not expecting you to play just those one or two songs. I mean, like, what's the worst is when you go see a band that doesn't even care enough about the audience to play their hits. Like, you know, I think Rachel was telling me her dad maybe saw, or maybe she and her dad saw Boston. They like only played things off their new album. Like, nobody wants to hear that. And then Rachel went to see Duran Duran, and they didn't even play Rio. She was really upset about that. So, you know, when people go to see a band, they expect to hear what they want to hear, and it's perfectly reasonable for them to do that. The band needs to remember that they should be thanking the audience for being there and providing the audience what the audience wants, and not thinking themselves too good for that and like, oh no, we're gonna play what we want to play. Fuck you, audience. You know, it's just like FI bullshit. Yeah, who wants to go see Duran Duran play songs from their new album, you know? Nobody. Excuse me. Of course, the Johnny show that we went to, that was a tour for his new album. Naturally, he played a lot of songs from his new album, and we were there to see that. And the only complaint I would have, which is not even a complaint, just like, could I also have this? You know, is I wish he had played You Got a Man, which is like one of my very favorite Johnny songs, even though it's a super simple song. Actually, I think I'll go sit over here for a minute before I go in the room. Try to push it till 7:45 or so. No, I get it, Hero Lamb, but you don't have to do that. If you choose to continue making money by touring, fine. Understand then that you're really treating this as a job, and you're there to make the audience feel like they got their money's worth for the ticket, and not because you enjoy it at all anymore. That's conceivable. But But then, don't go see those bands. Don't go see a band like the Eagles that have none of the original members in it, or the Beach Boys. I mean, I wouldn't go see one of those bands. I saw the Pixies the second time at the Rose Bowl a few years back, and it was fine. It was fine. Well, I mean, I think it depends where you are in your career arc, right, Harold, and whether or not you're still relevant. So it's like Billy Joel was relevant for a long time, and so when he played a show, and he still plays shows frequently, he's got a jillion songs to choose from. And he obviously likes performing a lot because he plays a lot of shows in the New York, New Jersey area where he doesn't have to travel very far. Yeah, yeah. I mean, artists make the most money playing live because that's where they get to keep almost all the money, and also they get all the money from merch sales and stuff. So, there are bands that stay relevant for a long time, have a shit ton of songs that have a lot of songs that their fans like, But there are other bands that lose relevance quickly and decide to continue performing just for the money. Obviously, those bands, it's quite plausible that they get sick of what they're doing and are just phoning it in every night. It's like, let's say I were to become successful as a musician. I still wouldn't play very many shows because I don't have that huge traveling different city every night thing in me anymore. I'm 52 years old, If I were to suddenly become successful, I still wouldn't play a shit ton of shows. But it would probably be very tempting if you knew you could make $20,000 in one night or something just by getting up on stage and playing songs for an hour. I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult to resist that temptation, at least some of the time. I remember Joe Rogan one time commenting on some changes on YouTube, and he's like, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. Helpful Goose. I know what Helpful Goose is. What was I gonna say? Well, regarding that filming, to pictures, etc. shit, like Johnny was actively encouraging everybody to film the thing and upload their footage to his archive website where he archives everybody's filming him and stuff. He was totally encouraging it the whole time. And that's a smart performer, right? Now, of course, what ends up happening with everybody's various little footages of Johnny? None of it is worth anything to anybody except Johnny because there's so much of it. How's that for outsmarting the copyright shit, That's the smartest thing you could possibly do. Yeah, I mean, it would be fantastic if I could become a musician and make money doing that. One thing that would help, if I were ever to hopefully do that, would be to actually publish my music rather than just upload it into YouTube. I could go on CD Baby and publish like 10 CDs worth of music right now. But it would take some time to put them together. You know, it's like you don't want to put out a CD unless you're sure that it's the perfect version of it. Of course, I'm never sure about anything like that, so. But I should. The recordings of mine that are on my greatest hits and stuff, I should just take them, publish each of them as a single, probably, and then when it shows up on YouTube, it would have that thing at the bottom like real music does. And if somebody else were to try to steal my song or whatever, YouTube would automatically content ID it and stuff like that. Imagine I become like Michelle Shocked. That would never happen. What do I make of Lady Gaga? Well, I think that Lady Gaga has some good songs. I think Poker Face is a great song. I really like that song. But she's got more than just that. She's got a number of quite good songs. She's a little like, look at me, I'm an artist or whatever, which is kind of gay, but you know, what are you gonna do? I know I brought a hotel key with me. Here it is. Shh, be very quiet. Look. There she is. A vision in black. Or maroon. Well, I'm talking to the live stream about your beauty. About how you awake a vision in maroon. It's about time to get up. It's not quite 8 a.m.
Okay.
But if you'd like, I can go back outside for a bit and live stream down the hall. And then you can have some time to get up and get ready before I come back in.
Okay, whatever works for you.
That's fine. I don't want to give them any free shows. No free shows for you guys, okay? I know that's what you really want. You really want a free show, but no. You remember that joke? That childhood joke? I told it in elementary school. There was this teacher who had a dog named Free Show. And one morning she was in the shower naked and her dog ran outside. So she chased after him down the street saying, "Free Show, Free Show." Remember that joke? It's a classic. It's rather like the other classic childhood joke, Deeper. How old is this building? I don't know, it's not a new hotel. It's not ancient, but it's probably a good 30 or 40 years old, I guess. I mean, it's obviously been updated since then. Hi, Lou. So let's talk about the Deeper joke. You may remember this as well. It's another school time joke. No, this hotel, I don't think it's very haunted. It's the DoubleTree by Hilton, you know. It doesn't really incite notions of haunting to me. So anyway, there's this boy whose name is Deeper, and he stays after school one day, and when his teacher bends over to pick something up, he starts humping her, and she's outraged, and she says, "Deeper." So he just humps her deeper. And she says, "Deeper." Remember that childhood joke? It's a classic. It's a real classic. At my elementary school, my first elementary school, there's a little school and the big school in Arcadia. in the little school, there was this one drinking fountain that had 6 drinking fountains on it. It had 2 sets of 3. And it was like water, soda pop. Maybe there was 5 of them. Because it was like water, soda pop, lemonade, pea. You didn't want to get the last one. It was pea. And the drinking fountain, supposedly. You know. So there must have been 5 of them. But I remember the little saying from elementary school. Water, soda pop, lemonade, pea. Lemonade was fine, although it was close to pea, but well, the women get a pass here, Lamb, for the reasons articulated in that one SNL skit with that guy who does the Taco Bell commercials, Pete Davidson. He was in it, and the lawyer, the woman lawyer, prosecutor is questioning him and saying, now after you had inappropriate relations with your teacher, did the other children at the school call you names? Yes, they did, ma'am. Names like Mac Daddy, King of Pimps, the Slayer, King of the School. You know, that's what. Good morning, Acacia. How are you? A Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry tries to these kids lemonade, says it's trash, and asks for his money back. Well, I should have made better lemonade. Well, water, soda pop, or lemonade were all fine, right? One of the skits from SNL about the weed gummies. Oh, I have to check that one out. I haven't seen it. I rewatched You've Been Sick, But You're Getting Better. How am I? I'm fine. Got a long drive ahead of me today, but not that long. And Bear Grylls drinks nothing but pee here, I am. Are you kidding me? He thinks water's bad for you. One of the best stand-up comedy things I saw on YouTube recently was the lady. If you YouTube search meth pee, it'll. No, I much prefer Survivor Man, less Grills. Well, thank you. Thank you, Lou. But anyway, if you want to see a funny stand-up comedy skit, search for meth pee. That lady's hilarious. She reminds me of myself. Hey, Rachel. I just remembered, in order to raise your enthusiasm for the morning, you should take a couple of these.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. We'll just hold on to those and take a couple of them. I took 3. You might want to take 3 as well. I don't know. Whatever you think is best.
What's the differences?
Well, most of them were instant release. The capsule is extended release. I took 1 capsule. She only gave us 2 extended. So I'm going to take the other capsule. That's the other extended. The rest of them are instant.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. They're the same milligrams either way. You take. Yeah, I'll take that back. Thanks. So Acacia says, "Hey, Rachel."
Hey, Acacia.
Hero Lamb says, "Pete Davidson annoys me, but I don't know why." Well, he annoys me in the Taco Bell commercials, in which he looks like, "I really wish I wasn't doing this."
Yeah, I know.
You going in
Do
here?
you think
Go ahead.
he exited SNL prematurely?
I don't know if he exited it prematurely, but I do know that he's currently in a commercial making phase of his career, which is probably not exactly the art he dreamed of making.
Yeah.
But he still has a lot of, I guess, youth cred, even though he's older, because he's making commercials designed to appeal to youths.
Yes.
I don't know how old he is now, but
He's like, definitely, he's younger than me, but not by much. It's just interesting that he like quit when he was dating, Kim Kardashian.
oh, he was dating Kim Kardashian?
Yeah,
That was dumb of him.
yeah, it really was. He said it messed him up a lot.
I don't doubt it. How long were they going out for?
Maybe 6 months, something like that.
Long enough to mess you up.
Yeah. Yeah, afterwards he said something like being with her what messed him up.
Yeah. It's like being locked in a cage with a narcissistic cat.
Yeah, yeah. But he has BPD.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Well, it makes sense that he'd choose somebody bad.
that's true.
Although I chose plenty of bad people and I don't have BPD. So choosing bad people is not unique to BPD.
No.
In fact, BPD people can choose wonderful people. Like me or Rachel or
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah.
Hero Lamb correctly asked the question regarding Kim Kardashian. Who wasn't dating her? I don't know.
That's
Hero Lamb.
funny.
Not sure who wasn't dating her. But here's, you like whoever's bag that is? This is Rachel's luggage. That's my sock behind it. I didn't say Kim Kardashian was a narcissist. I said dating her would be like being locked in a cage with a narcissistic cat. I was specifically thinking about Trouble. Being forced to watch him eat all day.
Oh my god. I bet it was kind of like that for him.
Watch me eat.
Yeah.
Watch my ass as I eat.
Yeah.
I can.
That's a good impersonation of her.
Weird looking wallpaper. It's kind of this wavy pattern metallic wallpaper. Looks kind of nice. Doesn't look bad, I don't think. Trouble mukbang, yeah. Well, it's fine a few times a day. It's really not, but I put up with it anyway. It's fine like 4 or 5 times a day.
So many.
But I wouldn't want to spend all day watching him eat. You want to see some terrible hotel art?
Oh my god, yes.
This hotel is full of terrible hotel art. First, I'll show you this terrible hotel art in the room. What's this? It's like, some colors and stuff. And then I'm going to go out in the hall to show you some more terrible hotel art. The hall's terrible hotel art is just epically terrible. This is a good topic for this stream since it's titled Jason Derulo and Other Horrible Things.
Jason Derulo.
I couldn't remember the name of that person you were talking about yesterday that your mom likes.
Oh, Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes. But I thought, Jason Derulo, same difference.
Yeah,
You know, same fucking difference, right?
it is.
Shawn Mendes, Jason Derulo, whatever. So, alright. This one is probably the least bad of the hotel art. But it's still terrible. At least it looks kind of like a mountain in the wintertime. This one, its companion piece here, is worse. Neither of them has really anything to recommend it at all. But even worse than those two pieces of hotel art, Poopy Smears is the name of that painting, yes, is this. Oh, yeah. Random shit with white and bluish colors. Well, I guess nobody's offended by that art. Looks like AI art. Well, it just looks like pointless thing on wall to me. At least have a theme, you know, like at least the Meridian where we didn't stay because of their stupid valet parking. At least they have a horse racing theme. So they have horse racing stuff on the walls. You know, it's near the racetrack, so it makes sense. I mean, it looks pretty nice in there. Like, look at this carpet too. Am I supposed to believe that there are vines growing out from the rooms into the middle of the hallway? Yeah, I know. They were made in large quantities for that specific purpose, just to throw up on walls and DoubleTree ends. And explicitly, they were not made in any large quality at all. They were made in very small quantities. Shrimp is great. I'm going to disagree with you, Hero Lamb. I don't like shrimp. Was that a piano back there? No, it was not a piano. That wasn't even close to a piano. You couldn't be more wrong. It was a harp. Lobster's better than shrimp, but really, lobster's kind of like a very big shrimp.
Yeah.
I actually got shrimp last time we went to the Fredericks in Mariposa. I got oh, this is the heater air conditioner unit. That's what that is. I see why you thought it was a piano. Now I understand what you were talking about. I had no idea what you possibly have thought was a piano, but now I understand why you thought that was a piano. No, it's just this wood thing around the heater air conditioner, which even though it was too hot last night, neither Rachel or I even dreamed of touching.
I did try. I tried my hardest. It's got to be broken.
Oh, you have to use that of it.
Oh.
There's a wall unit for it.
Oh wow.
Oh,
I
wow.
tried.
We both slept fine.
Yeah.
I slept
Oh,
quite
good,
well.
good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I got like probably close to 8 hours maybe.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. My mom called weed shrimp for a long time as a code word. She used to get it from a lobster guy. Why she didn't call it lobster then? Excellent question. Well, because lobster's too fancy. That would make people suspicious. She was constantly talking about lobster. Well, I mean, it's not a bad case for the heater air conditioner unit, assuming you don't have a better heater air conditioner system than individual units like this in each room. Plus, you could say, yeah, I need 8 shrimps. I need a quarter-pound of shrimps, which would mean like a quarter ounce. You know. A QP. Back when I was like a teenager, the dream was to combine our money and get a QP. That would just be 2 quarters. It's not that much weed. No, it's not. It'd be more than that. It would be how much is a QP? It's like 2.5 ounces? 4 ounces? Maybe 4 ounces. Yeah, well, that makes more sense. Us as teenagers managed to get enough money together to get a QP of Mexican weed. Would have taken a couple $100 probably. Even back in the day, it's funny how like weed prices, 4 ounces, yeah, okay. It's funny how weed prices, they really haven't changed that much since the 80s. You know, now you can get an ounce in California. You can get a shitty ounce for like $80. You probably get a QP for $250, $300 if you were willing to get shitty weed. Or you could just get a bunch of weed for free in the mail one day. That's the best way to get weed. Oh yeah, I've smoked plenty of horrible weed. Smoking horrible weed is like is good compared to smoking bong resin, which I've done plenty of times. Not in a long time, but
Desperate times.
yeah, of course. That's one of the things I loved about the stainless steel bong. When I'd run out of weed, I could just empty all the water out of it and heat the bottom of the stainless steel bong with a torch and just hit the resin like that. But these days, Rachel and I are just swimming in weed, so I noted the other day that she'd actually thrown out a sandwich bag that had, I don't know, probably a quarter-ounce of shake in the bottom of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I pulled it out of the trash.
Oh, that must have been like some weird automatic thing.
It was probably an accident when you were throwing away those breads from the freezer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely was a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't think you did it on purpose. But it's the sort of thing where if that's all the weed you have, there's zero chance you throw that away.
Yeah.
You know? Do you ever buy any from anything but a legit dispensary? Well, I mean, now we never buy any weed at all. We haven't for a long time since we got that gift of weed from the heavens, you know? That's one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. You know? When months after you sell your house You go to pick up the packages that the realtor has gathered from your porch, and all of a sudden you have 5 pounds of weed. Like, I'm sure there are still people who don't believe that's what happened. They assume that I must have bought it or something. I swear to God, we did not buy that weed. We did nothing at all to make that weed come to us. It just, my dad directed it to us from heaven. That's the only explanation I could possibly have for it. It's the craziest thing that's ever happened. Can you imagine? It's like, let's say you and your wife smoke a lot of weed and you like to do mushrooms. Then one day you realize, due to somebody putting insufficient postage on their drug deal gone wrong, you have been delivered by the heavens 5 pounds of weed and 2 ounces of mushrooms. Like, how does that ever even happen? That doesn't happen, you know? But it did to me. Pretty crazy. But you know, we've had a lot of crazy things happen, really. You know, that 9 a.m. gunshot ringing in the air, that was a crazy thing to happen to us as well. No, yeah, they had put our return address as the return address on the packages, right? Except it didn't have our name on it. It had like, Tom Chin or something. And then it had our return address. And I'm pretty sure that what happened is they drove around, found a house that was for sale that clearly didn't have anybody living there because we were in a hotel. And they just put that return address and figured, well, if there's a problem, I'll just pick it up from that porch. But what they probably didn't anticipate was that we would have a 10-day escrow, and that I'd be so dumb as to not put a change of address form in until the day we moved. So I had to tell the realtor to pick up all our packages. If it had been dealt with by a change of address form, it wouldn't have come to us because it wouldn't have had our name on it. They would have assumed it would belong to the new people who lived there. So it was a variety of weird things that made it such that it didn't work out for this person. First of all, they had to put insufficient postage on every single one of those packages. They all said insufficient postage on them. That's a big fuck up. If you're mailing a pound of weed across country, or in one instance, one of the packages had 2 pounds in it, and you don't correctly weigh the postage on it, even though those pounds they were like vacuum sealed like 5 times. There's like 5 layers of packaging of smell-proof packaging you have to go through to get to the actual bag of weed. People take a great deal of care in growing, harvesting, manicuring, packing, creating dark web business, etc. It's all completely seedless, all straight sinsemilla. There's not a seed to be found in it. It's all high quality. And they didn't put sufficient postage on it? What kind of crazy unbelievability is that?
That is crazy unbelievability.
So I wouldn't blame people for not believing the story, but it is 100% true. That's exactly how we got all that weed. if I had been smart and put a change of address form in 2 weeks ahead of time like you're supposed to, that weed never would have gotten to us. So let's hear it for irresponsibility. No, I mean, the thing is, that boy Klaus, one reason why I'm not worried about Tom Chin and his gang coming to find me is because we didn't even get the weed until months after he had lost it. We didn't know there was weed in these packages. The realtor didn't get around to giving Delilah the packages and various mail he had collected until like 2 months after we had moved. It took us another month to get down to LA to even get the mail that we came to get. And then it took us weeks to even open the packages. Even though I said right away, oh my God, I hope there's drugs in here.
Yeah. Both Delilah and I were like, no.
And the Tom Chen, right? If he's going to assume anybody has it, he's going to assume either the people in the new house have it, or the post office took it back. They're not going to forward it to us because it's not our name on it. So it's like, it's impossible for Tom Chin and his gang to figure out that we have it. You are now lonely on your own. Yeah, it was a gift from the slabs after a rough year. Well, I like to think it was my dad trying to stop us from wasting his money on weed. That sounds more realistic to me. You know, my dad interfering in that fashion sounds more realistic than a gift from the slabs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad, even though he's dead, has an opinion about every dollar we spend. And it's almost always a negative opinion. Although I do think he's very pleased with the real estate deal we made. I think he might have had something to do with that as well. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to believe that Rachel and I could have made such a good real estate deal. So I'm assuming my dad must have something to do with that. He probably got a gimme from God because back in the 80s, when Mammoth Mountain was having a fair number of earthquakes, my dad was afraid that there was going to be either a major earthquake or a volcanic eruption. And so he sold the condo in Mammoth. Naturally, of course, there was no big earthquake, no volcanic eruption. The earthquakes went away, and that property in Mammoth would be worth so much money right now. Mammoth's super gentrified right around then. And that was a poor decision. So I'm thinking, God's like, well, okay, I'm going to give you a mulligan on that one, and you can push you can push the Zillow listing of your choosing in front of your son's eyes. And then he did. And even then I was like, well, this one looks kind of nice, I guess. What do you guys think? And it took Rachel and Delilah being like, yes, for sure, for me to go, okay, well, I guess we should go look at it. And I'm very glad we did. So, I pooped some. I feel like I probably do have more poop in me, but I'm not sure it's ready to come out yet. You know, ever since we came into this room, I thought it smelled kind of wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shower.
Yeah. If I figured out at some point last night why the room smells so wet, it's because the shower is leaking and dripping water continually.
Yeah, like it almost looked like someone had just used their shower and then left.
Instead, it's just dripping slowly, steadily, making everything smell wet and mildewy.
Good nose.
Yeah. So, was not perhaps history's greatest hotel room experience. Like the grossness in the sink there is also grossing me out.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
But the bed was comfortable.
Yeah, the bed was comfortable.
It wouldn't have been too hot, but I just slept with just covers on my lower half.
It might have been too hot. Yeah.
But with covers just on my lower half, I was pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I stuck one of my legs out.
Yeah.
It usually helps.
It reminds me of this, I don't know, maybe a Facebook post that Abraham put up a couple years back of somebody sleeping in the wintertime, showing all the various arrangements of one arm under, one arm out, etc. Well, I am stinky as a boy, and I don't give a fuck. You about ready to go?
Yeah.
Me too. I will stop in the name of love. Don't smoke weed. I did it for 25 years and gave it up a year ago. So why should we believe the 1 year over the 25?
I've quit weed before and I missed it every single day.
I quit weed before. I didn't necessarily miss it, but it's like it's one thing I rarely regret. Yeah, really regret smoking weed. Occasionally, like last night, I regretted it a little bit because my lungs were pretty cashed, and that joint we smoked in the car before bed made me super wheezy and coughy, and I didn't have my inhaler. So in that regard, I regretted that particular joint a little bit. I wonder where my other sock is.
Oh, I think I'm sitting on it. Yep.
2 socks. That's all I need.
That's good.
Because, unlike the rest of you, I only have 2 feet. I was born with just 2 feet, and I didn't let it stop me. I still became an international soccer superstar. Whoo, I am ripe. I am so ripe. I may end up buying deodorant on the way home just so I don't have to smell myself in the car.
If I had deodorant with me, I'd give you mine, but
Well,
I just spritz myself with perfume.
I don't want to smell like a girl.
No, you don't. That's why I didn't offer it to you.
Oh. All I know is Cologne. Cologne. Perfume for boys. Okay. Now that we've gotten our stuff all in our pockets, and Rachel's got her stuff all packed up. She's double checking to make sure she's gotten everything,
Yeah.
which is always smart. Make sure you have your phone as well.
Got my phone, got my charger, got my medicine. Yeah.
You got your vagina?
Yeah.
Good. You'll need that later when we get home. Okay. Now, looking ultra fresh in these sunglasses from my dad, who occasionally ended up actually having good taste in something just by accident, kind of, you know. Like these sunglasses look pretty good on me.
Yeah, they do. They look really good on you.
My dad's taste in things is the classic example of the blind squirrel. Almost everything he had was, fashion-wise, just terrible. But not absolutely everything, because even a blind squirrel picks out an occasional pair of cool sunglasses.
Yeah.
What brand are these glasses? Look, it says on the side of them here. Well, it actually doesn't say a brand, it just says China. This brand is China. Okay. Richard, you take this?
Sure.
Thanks. All right, thank you. Well, that was straightforward enough. And probably here around, like me, you wouldn't look good in these glasses, because these are women's glasses. But I've lost my other pair. Actually, I think I broke them. Or they just fell apart. So on the way out of town, Rachel, I think we should stop at, I don't know, maybe Jack in the Box, get a little bit of breakfast and stuff. I think we'll end this stream for now, and we may end up streaming a little bit again later. Thank you all for being here. 19 people here, wow. Terrible time to end, but now's when it ends.